So I'm going to get into a little an area of watercolor I wasn't really planning on going to today, that most people probably don't really know about. And that watercolor isn't always just water. You get to make your own mixtures. What I'm adding here is called gum arabic. It reduces the flow of pigment. And improves the translucent quality of the paint. So, just a little dab will do you. Gum arabic is actually one of the additives that you see in watercolor. The actual tubes of pigment. So, my hope with that is that by adding that, we'll get a little less of the granulation that we see with the multiple washes, because the board isn't completely smooth, and with each wash you put a little bit more of the pigment into the valleys of the board. So with that, we're going to do yet another wash. This is going to be a little different. And I've freshened my water supply again. So that's ready to go. Actually, yeah. So I wanted to get kind of a darker blue up at the top. That's certainly going to be darker. Give a little spritz. There we go. The perfect blue sky is kind of my white whale. You would think it's the really dramatic skies that are hard to do. They have their own challenges, but for me, that perfect clear blue sky can be quite the challenge. Okay, that aside. Feels like cooking sometimes. Okay. Clean out the brush. Let's see. Don't tarry. It's important to have that slant. The last thing you want is for the pigment to start creeping back up where you've already washed. Go with fresh water now. Actually, to make things even more complicated, I'm going to add another color. I think, yeah. And because things aren't interesting enough, I'm gonna really mess with things. What have I done? Lay that flat, or as flat as it gets after adding all that water. Oh, good thing that was off the board. And switch to a flat brush. Put in a couple clouds. Just bopping along. Just ever so slightly. Grab that. Put it out. Don't want to get too caught up in detail because we only have a certain amount of time to get these things in. I want to wait a little bit longer before I do too much down in there because it's still rather wet. Just picking up a little bit of that orange. Bring that in a bit. There we go. So it kind of transitions to the lavender. Okay. Bring in that bright yellow. I really want this to be intense. I think I'm succeeding. I'm not really getting a clean brush at the moment. Just trying to work in the different colors. Trying to get them to play nice with one another. You want to be confident yet gentle. And the flat brush really does work better than a round. I say that because I tend towards the round brush, but A lot of artists use the flat for stuff like this for a reason. It just, you get a different stroke. You can do a lot with a round. I'll leave that alone because I like it. Boy, that's bright. Okay. And breathe. Just gonna pick up a little bit right there. Stick in some shadow. And with a mid-range orange, just ever so slight. Thin that out. Just blend those colors in. Ever so slight. I'm just going to throw in a little bit of stuff there. It's almost a dry brush technique into the wet. I'm not adding a lot of water at this point. This is definitely a case of less is more. Switch over to the round because now I'm working on fluffy clouds. Adding a lot of water to this. And I'm giving a lot of thought to where the light is compared relative to the particular cloud I'm working on. I'm actually giving this a great deal of thought. Okay, because yeah, that's the one. Now I come in with a pink and I start to blend. And at this point I stop talking, so I've decided that I will be providing a little bit of a voiceover. Hopefully people like this. So at the moment what I'm doing is defining the horizon line. So just cleaning that up and then coming in with a little bit of that purple violet color from the clouds. And I start to bring in the yellow and the orange from the sunset. And then there's going to be a little peninsula off to the right there. So I start to put in the beginnings of the reflections for that. And I snuck in a little bit of a wave there in the foreground. Now I'm working on that peninsula. Just wanting to darken that up a bit. Getting a little bit of texture and variation. But obviously it's a silhouette, so you won't see very much of that. And then I start to bring in the reflections a bit more. And I decided that I needed to clean up the shoreline there. So I'm using the paper towel to pull up some of the color. I'm going to come in from the right there and clean up the side to prevent any of the color from bleeding back as it dries. I bring in some of the blue and the violet from the sky to define the waves closer in. They're starting to break on the shore. So and fit a little bit more with the the texture of the water. And now I start to define the wet area of the sand in the foreground. I'm using a little bit of pink and some of the violet again from the sky. So, since that's reflecting up. And this is where we're going to leave the painting video for today. I hope you liked part 2, and I hope you liked this format. If you did, or if you didn't, please leave a comment below. I'd appreciate your feedback. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That would help me out a great deal. And as always, please share with your friends on social media. That would be a great help to me. So I hope you like this video, and I'll just leave you with the music as we head out. Thanks again.